Welcome back! I'm doing live stuff again. And guess what? I'm gonna cry. So fucking deal with that shit. I want to talk about an experience that I just had, which reaffirms why Misfit Sanctuary needs to be supported and why I'm looking for sponsorship. Because I have done a lot of my, work to become a better human being. I've done the soul searching and the shadow work and all of that. And I've definitely healed in so many ways. And at the same time, there's still work to be done emotionally. There's trauma that I need help. I want help with understanding, because I disassociate sometimes to the point where it causes me a lot of problems. And so I'm working on being a responsible human and addressing my issues so that I can be productive and not be a drag and a drain on human society. And so I call the counseling center in town that is the only place in town other than the drug place that offers counseling for people who are on Medicaid. And they can't help me because they only accept so many Medicaid patients at one time, which is understandable because Medicaid does not, they get like $2 for every client, so from a business standpoint, hey Natasha, hey Dennis, Natasha, I know that you completely can understand this. From a business standpoint, it's like, yes, I understand why you cannot afford to take on a client. However, it blows my mind that once again, the people who need the help is not available. Hey, Sean. So it's like people who are on Medicaid, obviously there's something going on, There's something going on. It's either trauma, or it's a cycle of poverty or illness, obviously. That's why that is supposed to be there, to help people who are in need. And yet, where's the fucking help? Where is this help that we're just supposed to go get? I was on a feed the other day of this friend of mine, and someone who had commented on her feed was basically just like, because we were talking about the heroin clinics that are opening up, the safe clinics. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And I was explaining how it's saving lives, it's actually helping people get into help, and they were just like, they're the scum of the universe and a drag, Well, here's how it works, fucking asshole. It's not available. Even if you want to work on your shit, it's not fucking available. So here is this whole group of people who need help. Obviously, there's things going on where they need either behavioral or financial counseling, something, you know what I mean? And it's not there. And I want help, I get that there are people out there that don't want help. But the people who don't want the help are getting the help. And then there are people who are working so hard to become, healed, are left like sick. Just figure it out. And listen, my view is that if it's not available, then it's something else is available. So I'm not wanting to be like a negative Nelly with this, but I want to point out that there are huge parts of our population, our community, our friends who want help and it's not available. So that's why I'm looking for sponsors for, hey, hey Jerry, hey Kyle, hey RJ, thanks for joining. So if our system is not able to get those people who are falling through the cracks, then it's time that something else is started as a safety net, which is what a Misfit Sanctuary would be. We would be, a year-long sustainable community that is meant to help people transition, into, from one frame of thinking to an abundant frame of thinking. Hey, Kayla. And I mean, I'm not going to point out who, but I know there's a bunch of people I've seen watching, and you guys are in the same position I am, where you want the help and there's no space for it. Either the doctors who are provided through Medicaid are not quality providers and they're doing more harm than they are helping, or there's just no space, or there's no funding, and the way I have Misfit Sanctuary set up is that we would need very little funding. That's why I mean, all of this was created. I saw this sanctuary needing to happen from what I was going through, from this whole journey, and the reality of it is, like, I am going through it and it almost killed me, and I am a somewhat attractive white woman in society, and so there are people who are going through, who we all know just because of skin color or race, are receiving even less help, and then it's those people that people are complaining about, like that guy on that Facebook thread who was like, you're just, fucking lazy. Bitch, I am not fucking lazy. I work my fucking ass off, and you guys have seen it. I've worked my ass off to become who I am, I've done all of the work on myself. I've gone to AA, and I've cleaned up, and I'm eating better and taking care of myself so I'm not physically sick out in the world. I'm working on building a business and becoming self-sufficient, and when I need the help every step of the way, it hasn't been available, and it should be, because it's absolutely doable. So my plan is to get some land. This is why I'm looking for sponsors. I'm going to get some land, and I'm going to go on it, and I'm going to build myself a tiny home, and then I'm going to, once I build the tiny home, I'll move into it, and then the camper will become the first structure where a family will come on the property who's been abandoned due to illness or domestic abuse or things like that. And then they'll go through the whole program where we'll look at the food that we're eating. They'll learn to grow food. We'll look at the medicines they're on, and they'll learn to grow herbs to replace that. They'll learn how to forage. That way, even if they're homeless, they'll be able to find their own food. They'll learn how to grow through permaculture style, because the people who are staying there, it's a work trade program. This is how I'm keeping the cost down. So the abundance is there. The abundance is there. The idea of the lacking comes when we are insecure about our ways and what we're doing, and we say we're only going to receive in this one particular way, which is paper money. And that's not, I barter my way through life. That's the only way I've been able to live, because the fucking systems are not in place to actually help people. There's no reason why a single woman with 2 children who's been abandoned due to illness, should not have a place to live. Or when we say, oh, well, people have been in prison and they're supposed to be rehabilitated while they're in there, and so they should come out and they should be able to just get back into society. Well, no, the system actually sets it up so that they fail, so that they end up back in there, and it's just, it's gotta end. We keep talking about how when we know better, we do better. I expect my kids, as they learn the truth about things, to adjust their behavior. You know what I mean? And we're aware of these things now. Like, we're aware of these things. We all talk about them. We hang out together and we talk about them and we say how fucked things are. You know what I mean? But yet, these same fucking structures, structures are still in power. While the people who really, if they healed, they would become powerhouses in our society. Because, like me, these people who want to do better, would get better and better and better and then give into the rest of the world. And I just don't understand. Like, there are so many houses that are not being lived in, and they're just sitting there while we have people on the street who are homeless, who are being judged for being homeless, but then it's not being looked at that the reason that they're homeless is because there's not enough support. And when I told people that I was going to create this sanctuary, I can't tell you how many people told me, no, it's going to take too much money. No, you're not going to be able to accomplish that. You're going to have to pay people. And because of my whole experience being homeless and having to go to the food pantries and having to figure out a way to support my 2 kids while I was, in organ failure from treatment. You know what I mean? Like, it all came from that I'm seeing this, but it's just not, it's not right for them to be judged like that. And when there's, nothing that they can, they can, obviously. I did some things, but I got lucky. Like, if I didn't get that scholarship for that house, I don't know what the hell I would have done. I was suicidal. And it wasn't because I am a crazy person, which, that's debatable. But it was because I couldn't fucking figure out how to provide for my children while I was in organ failure, while I literally couldn't get up and do things, And no one should have to go through that. And there are ways for us to make sure that doesn't happen. And it takes us coming together. It takes us saying, enough is enough. Because the thing is, I'm raising the future. You know what I mean? I have male friends who are single parents out there who are fucking working their asses off to be good fathers. And the support isn't there, And so these kids are having to experience the same cycle of poverty, and what are they really learning? It's like we have to show them how to do it by doing it. Get the fuck up and do something. Like, I hear so many people complaining about the things that they don't have, but yet we're not doing anything about it. So I found this website called billyland.com. Everybody check it out. It's some sort of auction thing, and they have land all over. That's like foreclosure or whatever. You got to make sure that you really look, because some is on like swampland or stuff like that. So you have to make sure that you look. But it's all these properties that I'd like to get 5 acres. And if I could get, this is like one of the money things, I can figure out how to do a majority of it. But even this I could barter, you know what I mean, with a sponsor or something. I'm willing to barter to get the money to get this land. And it's usually like what I'm looking at is about at the most $400 a month, which is completely realistic. You know what I mean? And then once you get the land, I have people who are permaculture educators who have offered to come on the property and live on the property and build it up and help plant. And then when people come in, they will learn how to plant using permaculture principles and growing food forests and all of these wonderful things and foraging. And that way, when they leave the program, they'll have that they can go and, make a career out of it. You know, if people are supported and encouraged, like, really, I do believe most people want to feel good. You just lose hope at some point. You lose hope when you've been shat on, you know, repeatedly, or when you're trying so hard and the system is just set up for you to fail. You lose hope. But that's what they want. That's what they want. Because when we're hopeless and when we're scattered, we're easily, you know, duped. We're easily sidetracked, you know? So really, that's why it's Misfit Sanctuary, because we are going towards self-empowerment. We're going towards self-sufficiency. That way, you know, not that people won't choose to not live that way, but they'll at least have the opportunity to have that time to reacclimate, you know? It's like life rehab, you know what I mean? Like, people will come in and we'll work on our indoctrination and unpacking our book bags and working on looking at things and understanding, like, you know, what the fuck is going on, you know, so that I can help them get counseling and work through the trauma. And when we work through the trauma, we naturally feel better. And when we feel better, when we're thinking better, that flows out. But we have this whole gigantic group of people who are in that situation, and instead of being lifted up and guided to you know, reacclimate back into society. Do you have any fucking idea how hard it is for me to get myself back into society after having to pull myself out of it so that I could heal? Because the system that we're in as a society is unhealthy. So I pulled myself out of it, and now I'm going back into it because my kids are in school and I want to create this business, so I have to interact with the world. And now I understand why I felt so much better when I wasn't interacting with it, because it's an unhealthy system that is not sustainable. And we know that, and we see that, and so I'm ready to get up and do something about it. You know, I'm tired of not just me, but knowing that other people and other women are going through situations where they want the support, they want to get better, and it's just not there. Because they don't have money. You know? Well, I know a lot of women who are, you know, they've been in relationships. We were married. We were doing everything that we could to the point where we were busting ourselves to the point where we were sick. And then when we couldn't do the things, you know, then, and men too. I'm not just I say women because I'm a woman, but, you know, then the support isn't there, and we're just supposed to fix dinner and everything else and lift ourselves up. We're supposed to go work and provide and lift ourselves up. You know what I mean? And sometimes that doesn't happen, and your partner leaves you. Even though you've put in all this work, your partner leaves you. You know? Or not even your partner, your family. You know? Like, families abandoning family members because they're sick, you know? And it's like, how are you supposed to come back from that if you don't have a safe place? If you don't have a space where someone is saying, hey, even though they didn't think you were lovable, you are lovable. You are worthy of good treatment, even if you can't give anything, even if you don't have money, you know? Like, so here I am, okay? My disability's been revoked. I'm reapplying, and I'm expected to do all of this stuff. And physically, yes, I am doing so much better. As long as I have the kratom, I can get up and move around, and I could probably get a job if I could keep my fucking mind straight, okay? And I'm high functioning, and I am a good person. And I have mental illness, you know, and I'm working so hard to keep myself together and to keep these things going, but the system isn't set up to help me. And I've been in it. even the psych system, it was more traumatizing to me than anything else. So since there's no space, there's no place for me, I'm going to create it. So ask your friends to help. If you can help, please. Because people are hurting. And they just need to know that they're worthy and loved, you know? Access to information. Access to safety. And food that's not chemical laden. You know? Simple fucking things. Simple fucking things! Blows my mind. Thank you all for joining me, and I know I said some things that might rattle some people's cages, and I don't fucking care. Good. Be rattled. Be rattled. 'Cause we're the ones that have to change it. We are the ones in our own little lives. You know? Just reach the fuck out, guys. There are people, of course, you need you, you know? I'm not talking about being codependent. You know what I mean? But, like, spread awareness, you know? Just fucking love people, you know? I'm grateful for all the people that have loved me along my way. I've had amazing friends who have stuck by my journey and offered me their houses to stay in when I didn't have anywhere, offered me food, you know, were open to bartering with me, and my friends, my community has been what saved me, which is why this is showing me even more that it needs to be created. I'm gonna create it, you know? So I don't know. Thanks for letting me rant on here. Thanks for watching me rant on here. And yeah, send people my way. Have a good day.